And we're live. This is Mark Crandall with the Purpose Chasers podcast, and I have a very special guest with me, Stephanie Stanton. She is a photographer, a coach, and just an amazing, amazing woman. And I could give her an introduction, but I'm going to allow her to introduce herself. And before I do, I just want to create her a little bit. So I don't think I've said this to Stephanie, especially not looking her eye to eye. You are kind of, I don't want to say the originator, but you are one of the path layers for the foundation that I'm currently on. I did some coaching with Stephanie when I was in kind of this shift in my life of trying to find my true purpose. And I knew that my purpose was to help people and empower people, but I really didn't know. And I think it was 3 or 4 calls with Steph, and they were some of the most disturbing, tap into my feminine energy calls. And it really freaked me out. And she had me listen to one audiobook that I remember driving. What was it? It was, I don't remember what it was, but they started talking, you'll be able to tell me, but they started talking about how it was a delicate flower and the rose blossoms were shedding. And I remember driving in the car, and I was at a traffic light, and I remember looking over at the man next to me, and I had to turn it down. This man cannot hear. You cannot hear what I'm listening to. And I'm crying in the car, and my rosebud, this is blue, and I was just, yeah. So Stephanie, I just want to thank you.
Thank you.
For coming on and the influence that you've had in my life. You are, in my opinion, one of the pioneers of what I'm doing. And, I follow you on Facebook, and what you're doing with High Vibe Chick. You're truly a blessing to this world. And I hope that you get the traction that I believe this universe has for you. So Stephanie, you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, but I want to say really quick, Mark, you were such a joy to work with. I do primarily coach women, and I've coached probably 6 men in the last year, and they've all been super spiritual warriors, heart-centered men, and you were just such a joy to coach with. You were so authentic all the time. You were so ready and willing to change and learn about yourself, and I just had a great time coaching with you. Just want to say that. So, yeah, I am Stephanie Stanton. I am the owner of High Vibe Chick. I do coaching and photography for empowered women. I help women brand their businesses and get to really know who they are and express themselves and own their value and really step into their power with money. Money's been a big topic I've been working with my clients with. And yeah, I'm just really excited about that avenue, which I'm sure we'll talk about, money mindset. But yeah, I just really help them express who they are fully through their entrepreneurial business. Yeah.
That is, man, because I've watched you, and I remember having conversations with you. And when I first started working with you, actually, when I first saw you, you did a presentation at this breakfast networking event, which I wasn't a fan of at the time. Now to find out, I love networking events. Because the universe just throws these people at me. But I remember you doing this presentation on coaching, and I remember watching you, and I was like, I don't know what that is. That's not counseling. And at the time, I was doing therapy. I was a therapist at a treatment center, and I was doing individual and family work, and I'm like, this is not therapy. What is this? And it kind of, and that was man, what was that, 3 years ago?
Yeah.
Just kicked the door in on everything that I knew about empowering people. And I think I said at the beginning of this podcast, helping people. Well, I don't believe in helping people anymore, because I don't believe that anyone's helpless.
Yay! Yes.
You empower them. And so I've watched you leave that facility and start your own thing, and it's been cool. And I see the High Vibe Chick, your posts that you do, and sometimes I feel well, maybe I shouldn't post because I'm a high vibe dude, and I don't want these chicks to be oh, this dude energy.
You've been so affirming along the way. Every time you're I love this, I need more of this, I'm yes, you are always validating it. So thank you so much for that.
Well, you just, there's a lot of content that gets put out on the internet and in the world. And I believe that all content has its place, but I also, based off my experience, don't believe a lot of it's authentic. There's a lot of get rich now or build this funnel and you'll never work again. Or like, I follow some of them, but the lifestyle entrepreneurs, I respect their hustle. Don't get me wrong. But you're selling people on sitting by a beach and you want to show them how to do that while you're making money off showing them how to do that, which is
still a dream.
It is mine as well. Maybe it's just envy coming out. So and when we were going back and forth, I think we had 2 email exchanges on like what we wanted the topic to be. I said, can we talk about abundance?
Yes.
Because you didn't necessarily drop the abundance bomb on me, right? And I remember you recommended that I listen to Abraham Hicks, and I remember I started it 3 times, and it was like, I remember listening to it and like this, they're drawing this spirit, and I was like, these people are on acid. Like, I don't know what is going on with this. But I remember one night I was home alone, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to power through this. I want to see what this is about. And I started listening to it, and I was like an hour in. My wife came home, and she's like, what are you listening to? And I turned it off, and I was like, it's really weird. Maybe you don't. They like drew this. She's playing piano, and the spirit comes, and the spirit's talking to them, and she's like, well, what is the spirit saying? And I was like, it's really profound. I think it might be changing my life. And so I talked to, my coach about it, and I was like, do you know about this abundance? And he's like, oh yeah, welcome, my friend. And he turned me on to a couple more books. I don't think I have one of them in here, but the book that I'm currently reading is called Creating Money. And it's all about abundance. And so can you talk a little bit about what that means to you?
Yeah, I love that you brought up Abraham Hicks, because I think there's been nothing more influential to like my money mindset journey than Abraham Hicks. Their teachings, their channel teachings by Esther Hicks. She goes into a meditative state and she brings forth these amazing truths and lessons. And I remember, same with me, someone suggested I listen like 3 times and over the course of a couple years, and I never did. And then when I did, something inside of me like recognized something I've always known. Like I remembered it, and it was like really profound. And it still took years of me listening to it to even understand what it was saying. Now I feel like I have it on a whole different level. But if I could offer anyone anything like to walk away with, it's like, please just open your mind and listen to some Abraham Hicks stuff. It's all about getting into a higher vibration. I'm a high vibe chick, and learning how to consistently stay there so you attract better. You attract more of what you want, and it just feels better. You get to just be in a better feeling state more of the time. And, I think we get so consumed in this culture of like just putting our heads down, grinding it out, and at the end we'll have a happy ending. And this is about like really having a happy journey, like really bringing joy and fun and play into the journey in order to manifest better and just enjoy your life. So I really suggest some Abraham Hicks stuff.
Oh man, my journey with abundance, like I'm on this abundance. I got asked to speak at a mastermind last week, and the man was like, what do you want to talk about? And I was like, abundance, man. I want to talk about an abundance mindset. And he's like, well, I don't know what that is. Let's not do that. So he asked me not to do it. I'm like amped up to give this talk and how it's, absolutely transformed my life. And I don't want to do that now, because that would be a selfish interview. Can you talk a little bit about how kind of the journey of starting, because I know what it's like to start a business, and I know what it's like to persevere with an abundance mindset and have more abundance than you can imagine. So can you kind of
I definitely feel like I was like slow going to trust that this stuff works. I mean, I think we are at first, we're like, can I really trust that I can create what I want? So I was slow and steady leaving my 9-to-5 job and stepping into my business. And I still work there every once in a while just because I love working in the field of addiction. You and I know, like, it's profound hard work. But I was just always testing the waters and saying, okay, I was doing a lot of work at the time of visioning clients. I remember bringing into my meditations a vision of women lined up outside my door, this door out here, and just waiting to come in and see me. And just really feeding the energy of, like, there's always enough, there's more than enough. I started listening to a woman, Amanda Francis, who teaches abundance mindset, and I dug her work. And she's got this like Valley Girl accent, but she was really owning her money. Like, she was just, the way she spoke of it, like guiltless, guilt-free and shameless. Like, I just loved it. And I started really using her affirmations, like, my work is of high value and worthy of massive compensation. And really just affirming that every day. My work is of the highest value and worthy of massive compensation. And I was finding that as I was doing that, and I was also doing my clients love to pay me. That was a totally new belief for me, because I used to believe my old story was, if I take money from people, that somehow I'm hurting them. And that is really a conflict when you want to be in business, right? So I started affirming every day, my clients love to pay me. My clients love what I'm about and they love to pay me. And I would start believing that, like, yes, they love what I'm about and they love to pay me. And people were just saying, literally saying to me, I love writing this check to you. And it's like, oh my God, like, I'm literally shifting my reality around sales, around creating clients. And it was awesome. I have to share, though, this month I had a really amazing manifestation that made me go, holy shit. Do you mind if I share it with you quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I'm moving, just like you were, and to a bigger house. I really felt like this house was a metaphor for my evolution. Like, everything on my bucket list, like, I want skylights and beams and just like the whole thing, metal roof. I had like the whole list. And when I found this house, effortlessly, it just fell on my lap. It really felt like, here's an opportunity for me to step into a greater version of myself. Like, here's the house that represents who I've become. So I was really excited about it, but it also came with more fear. Here's more bills. Here's more bigger house, you know? And I remember saying, I'm going to make this transition into this house as smooth for myself as possible. So I said, all right, universe, I need $4,000 extra for this move. I need $4,000 extra in addition to what I'm making, just to pay the movers, pay the security, like, just let's make this go. And every morning I thanked the universe for $4,000 extra, $4,000 extra. I only probably did it maybe 5 or 6 times. And then I get this letter in the mail, swear to God, it like gives me chills, that my grandmother, who passed away months ago, like in November, had left me some money in a life insurance policy. And they wanted me to call them. And I called, and there was this very old life insurance policy with my name on it. She actually bought it in 1961 and added my name in 2004. And it was for $39.80. And just like, literally, like, the month I'm asking for $4,000 extra, I get this random letter in the mail. And I just really want people to understand that if you're in a vibe of money, like, you trust it can come, you thank the universe for it, you believe it like it's already here, you know it's yours already. That is faith. That's the essence of faith. You know it when you can't see it. When you thank it and really believe it, like, feel it like it's here, the universe has to yield. And it gives me chills to think that of the magic of, you know, something purchased in 1961 helped me manifest the month I needed it. Like, it's unbelievable. So it was just one example of how, you know, when I step outside my comfort zone and I'm willing to see that there's more money available to me, that it's out there already, and I just have to claim it and really feel the feeling of it and be grateful for it, that it's totally mine. And I just can't wait to see that emerge even more over the next couple of years in my business, in my clients' businesses. I'm doing a lot of mentoring of coaches right now, which feels really good and natural and God-given. And we're working a lot around that. It's just like, how to just already feel the success of their business before it's yet here, you know?
Yeah. So I want to, when you said that, something struck for me. So I want to kind of create what I'm about to say. But, and so I remember when I first got into the abundance practice, and when I was trying to break free of some of my thoughts, which this isn't like a one and done for sure. So I don't want you to sound like it is, because I know you could you could share countless stories of how I wasn't so abundantly thinking.
Well,
And
me too.
so, and so there's this piece of the abundance practice, and like what you just said. So thank you, universe, for providing this. There's this piece there of resistance for me, right? And it's like, how can I say that I'm in the realm of the spirit while asking the universe for money?
Mhm.
And how can I say that I'm godly or spiritual when I want money and I should be free of possessions, right?
Mhm.
And I've gotten free of that by this kind of, and I'm going to use the word God, and you can use whatever you want, but I've gotten free of that by this kind of mantra that everything is here for the taking,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So everything is here for the taking. Why not me?
Yes. And money is neither good or bad. It's neutral. It's just an energy, right? And like I had that one big time because my parents are really spiritual, and I grew up with this belief that like if you want money, that's not spiritual. Like being spiritual is to give, not wanting to receive. And so this was like a really big one for me. Is I really want to be like a spiritual warrior, and also I want to feel abundant. I want to be able to give to myself and to the world profoundly. And so it was a big one to kind of loosen that. Like I can be both. I can be spiritual and abundant. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. And I mean, so my vision for 2018 is to touch the lives of 2 million people that need to kick the door in on mediocrity, right? And so my kind of mantra, or what I'm putting out there, is thank you, universe, for providing me with the funds that I need to touch those 2 million lives, right? And so there's this kind of belief system that wanting money or wanting more is greed,
Mm.
but my motive for wanting more is not greedy. It's to provide more value to the world.
Yes. And I've been looking for around the internet a lot for like people who are doing great things with lots of money. Because there are so many profound gifts being given all around the world all the time. But we want to look at the people who get hardened and cynical with money, and you know what I mean? Like who money changes them, instead of like, there was like a lot of great money things happening with people. Like I want to get a lot of money in the hands of people like you, like really heart-centered, loving, purpose-driven people. And such as myself, like we could do amazing things with more resources. So why not? Yeah.
And so I had a lot of, I want to share this because I don't think I've shared this out loud, or, I mean, this is going to go on the internet. Who knows who's going to watch it, or the podcast, who's going to hear this podcast. I started this podcast, right? And I had a lot of resistance around starting it because it's like, I want coaching clients, or I want to work with a bigger, higher end businesses. And I want my memoir to sell. You like that?
Yeah,
Um, to sell more copies, and I want more paid speaking gigs, and I want. And then I had this shift, and my buddy Jesse's coming on. He's going to be on next week's podcast. Jesse Harless of Entrepreneurs in Recovery. And I wanted to collaborate with him so badly, but in my mind, I'm like, Jesse's further than me. Jesse's like, he's got what I'm trying to get, and I can't involve him because he's going to take what I could grab along the way. And so I expressed that to Jesse in a call, and I was like, hey man, I really want to collaborate with you, but this thought just keeps coming up for me. And I know it's poop, it's not pure. It's not of my heart. And so, and when we had a piece like, dude, I feel, I have similar feelings, and like, we just got to give to each other. And so I had to walk through like bringing you on, you know what I mean? Like I look up to you. I feel like you're further on the path than me. And I know that's in my head, right? But that's how I feel. And And so when I started the podcast, I was like, you know what? I'm going to do hard asks. I'm going to ask people that I feel like, I'm gearing up. I'm drafting an email to shoot out to some people that I really want on here that are hard asks. Right. So I got, asking you on, and then I asked a bunch of friends on, and I actually canceled a couple podcasts because I don't want to grab the low hanging fruit. I don't want the people. And so I found myself asking people that I felt maybe were a little below me. You know what I mean? In my mind, I know it's all made up. I'm not saying that anyone's below me. But you're one of the hard asks. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, I'm going for harder, I would say, because I knew you would say yes. I want some no's. I want some, you don't have your following's not big enough to have me on yet. I want some of those.
I totally relate to that because I'm thinking like, I've been loving my coaching clients these days because they're women that I'm constantly going, do I have enough to offer them? Do I have enough to offer them? And that's like huge because, we've worked, I've worked for 10 years in the field of addiction. And when people first come in recovery, like they just need like love and your enthusiasm, right? And to feel safe. But like these women coming to me, these are high achieving, like spiritual badasses. And I'm like every day showing up going, I'm like inspired by them. Like I would love to just go out to tea with these women and just be around them. And here I am showing up as their coach. And I love that it keeps me on my edge because like, I want those harder people, the ones who, but it's funny, they are actually more coachable and more willing to just dive in because they're very self-aware already. And they're very, they're just into what I'm into. But it's just so funny that 5 years ago, if I thought I would be with the people, I would have not felt worthy. I would have felt like, why would they even want to talk to me? And I think that's what makes us amazing leaders, Mark, is that we're still willing to like lean into imperfectionism, and then when we start comparing ourselves to others, dropping that and saying, like your card, I just pulled a card for Mark before. It was all about keep letting yourself be imperfect because your creative ideas have to come to life. Like that was his message, because there's something really great coming from him, and doubt shouldn't be killing it. Like the more we're willing to do that and to put ourselves out there, like we're becoming more of who we are. And I think that's so wonderful. And I've loved watching you, because I can easily look at you and be like, he's doing podcasts, he's doing all these great things. Like
it's so easy to start.
But it's silly, right? Because like both of us are heart-centered spiritual badasses. So like, why even go there in our heads,
Yeah, and I watched, and I want to share this and then get your take on it. So I watched a video that, and I'm working on name dropping. I don't want to do a whole bunch of name dropping, right? Because it's just my ego's way of trying to manifest higher levels of stature. But I was listening to this person who stated that likes on your Facebook page or views of your, downloads of your podcast, yeah, they mean something in the realm of like what advertisers are going to pay you to get a spot on whatever you're doing. But in the realm of the work that we do, it doesn't necessarily mean anything, right? And so I'm pounding through, like I'm sure, but I'm pounding through, and I'm doing my posts this week, and I just released my motivational video recording, and I'm working on getting more paid talks, and affirming that the universe is going to send me higher level clients, and da 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 da. And I'm like, what am I doing? And I had this like head sinus cold thing, and I'm just like, what am I doing? What am I doing? And I get this email, and I did I did a video about it. It's going to go on my Facebook page, and I get this email, and it's a doctor in Akron, Ohio, who has watched my YouTube videos and read my book. I have no connection to her. Like I did some investigating. I'm like, I don't know how I know this woman. And she is doing a presentation amongst hundreds, if not thousands of people. I have no idea. It sounded like a big deal. And I looked it up, and it was, and she asked if she could use my material for her presentation. And I was like, and I, it's like kind of one of those, and I just took a seat back and I'm like, without the attachment to it, there wasn't like any, I did this or anything like that. And there's some clicking going on. Is that you, Steph, or is that?
Yeah, I don't know what that is. Well, I don't know.
My pause. Oh, you fixed it.
Yeah.
And now it's back.
I do hear it when you're talking. I do hear it when you're talking. But
yeah, I don't
just
know what it is.
talk. Just
It's gone
yes.
now. It's gone now. So, anyways, I don't know. Have you had those moments where, like, I think this applies to everything that anyone does in life, right? And it's you have these moments where you're wondering if it's all worth it, and then the universe goes and sends you an email like the one I got.
I wish, Mark, that we could see ourselves like others see us, right? Like hearing you intro me, I'm like, oh, I want to be the person Mark thinks I am. Like, like if you could really see how powerful you are, you would have no doubt ever. But it's just funny because we don't really see how we're what we're putting out. It's just really interesting. I wanted to, what you were saying about the affirming and then trusting, I really want to talk about that for 1 second, because I'm finding now that my work is not to plan like what I'm going to do to anymore. Like I'm done. Like, it's like we were talking about before, like we're done helping. We just want to embody, right? And I'm done planning. I just need to like be of the vibration. So these days, like what I'm doing is really just like working the money vibe, like being so excited for the money as if it's here, being eager. I literally sometimes just imagine like being handed like a big fat check and just squealing and jumping and being so excited of like what I'm going to do with it and how I'm going to spend it and how to give with it, and being of that vibe. The days that I'm doing that, because that's not always consistent, but the days that I'm doing that, I'll wake up the next morning from sleep with an idea. Like my intuition will say, pull together, like these are the last 2 ideas that came to me. I had no planning them. I was not thinking about them. But this last month, I woke up and my intuition very clearly with a feeling of excitement under it, which I was like, okay, was like plan a money makeover workshop for women. They will all say yes. So literally I woke up, fixed my hair, put on a video, invited 4 women. All of them said yes. Boom, $1,000 right there, right? Like easy money. I'm just going to talk about what I love. I'm just going to talk about money manifesting, easy, like I would just hanging out with friends. And my second idea was to mentor coaches. I reached out to some of my clients that were burgeoning coaches and said, hey, like I would love to just share some techniques and tips that have really helped my clients with their transformation. And I just felt like they were all going to say yes. They all said yes. And I just set up a monthly mentoring program for them. Again, like the money, I didn't have to think about how am I going to make more money in my business. I just had to be in the like feeling of it, the squealing and excitement of like, I have so much money coming in the door. And then I woke up with the idea and I took action. Like my old me would have felt that idea and doubted the shit out of it and been like, no, like that won't happen. But I now I feel like I'm trusting it so much that I really feel like they'll say yes. If you follow this, they'll say yes. And like my goal, and because this is a path of uncertainty you and I are walking, we are walking an extraordinary life, and being leaders in transformation, it's uncertain where we're going to be led to. Because you and I have both said, like, use me well. I want to be used well. So we don't know what's coming for us, but to be able to trust that if I am a vibrational match to what I want, it's going to be shown to me. The ideas will come. One of my favorite teachers these days is Kyle Cease. I don't know if you know him. If not, you should oh my God, you should be listening to his YouTube videos. He's a stand-up comedian. He has his own Netflix special turned transformational life coach, and he's hilarious. So he's really light and funny, but like profoundly deep and spiritual. So I've been listening to him a lot, and I actually got invited to coach with him personally, which is really cool too, side story. But he does a lot of talking about just living in your heart and trusting that the ideas will show up, and really just taking action, even though if you don't know what it's going to look like. And the more I just really commit to that, like really like this is how I'm going to show up. I'm going to be okay with the uncertainty and just trust that what this feels like, because I'm doing the vibrational work, so it's gonna be okay. It's gonna get me where I need to go. And when those times of negative emotion come, like which totally has happened during this move for me, I'm like, I just notice it, and I'm like, this is not helpful to my goal. I'm just trying to drop it as soon as I notice it, because that really is our only work. It's just the vibrational work, being a match, feeling how it would feel if our goals were already here. Like that's the only work, and that if I do anything with my morning, besides not kill my kids as they're going out the door running late, it's like to spend as much time in the shower, on the drive to school, on the drive back from school, to imagining how would it feel if everything I want is here already? How would it feel if I already have enough money, the beautiful house, the career I want, the relationship I want? Because when I feel it, it just, my day flows. It's so much easier. And yeah, it just feels like, to me, that's the only work. And I have stopped helping people. My coaching clients really just come to me because they say that I have this thing about me that they want, like it feels good to them. And they know I'm not interested in helping them. I just want to be an embodiment of self-care, of personal value, of freedom of lifestyle, of love, of sincerity, of authenticity. And then I'll hang out with them and help them manifest their dreams. Like that, help them manifest their dreams by just reflecting back, yeah, you should totally do that. Like it's totally like what you're made to do. The coaching has become effortless. It's literally like I'm just on this ride with them. Where when I wasn't so fully committed to surrendering to the flow of my journey, it was much harder to coach my clients into trusting, right? Because you attract a mirror. Like I feel like I can really see my personal work and how my clients are now showing up. It's just effortless. It's really fun.
So, Steph, I'm gonna wrap the podcast up. And I think that is an amazing note to kind of sail off on. And so I want to create abundance in your life and state that 4 new coaching clients are going to come to you based off of this podcast. And so where can they find you?
Oh, so you can find me at highvibechick.com. High, H-I-G-H, vibe, V-I-B-E, chick, CHICK.com. And yeah, if I always say my criteria for working with me is you have to be high vibe, which means you're an uplifter, you're a healer, you're very spiritual, you're into positive thought. So you're high vibe. You are empowered, which means you are already taking personal responsibility for your life. You know that you are creating your life. You're no longer in that victim world where you're blaming everything, your unhappiness on other people. It's really essential that you're in this place of, you're a creator and that you are creating your life. And then that you're ready to make a big change. I don't take clients that aren't ready to make a big transition. They're either starting their own businesses, they're getting into a new relationship, they're getting out of an old relationship, they're doing something that feels really big to them, and they just really want some support and accountability through that. But yeah, it would be my honor to work with you.
Awesome. Stephanie, thank you so much for coming on, and I can't wait to have you on in the future.
Me too.
Have a great day.
Thank you so much, Mark. Bye.